wanted to be closer to the speaker. Okay. Very good morning, brothers and sisters. So today we are very blessed to be able to attend the Sunday service here in BF. Just a very quick run through to the guidelines as well as house rules for COVID-19. So I believe all of you who are here have done all the safe entry. Please do follow the guidelines for going in and out. And if you are feeling unwell at any point in time, please do not hesitate to just take a leave. And everyone present must wear a mask. So this is to protect ourselves as well as our speaker. Only the speaker is allowed to remove the mask. And everyone should keep 1 meter away from each other and at least 2 meters away from the speaker. So we wanted to make sure that our speaker is safe. And services will be kept to a minimum time. So I know usually we encourage you to mingle around, but for this time period, after the service and after the talk and sharing of merit, please do leave as soon as possible. Go home. And chanting will be done by the MC. And for the audience, should just follow. No need to chant loudly. Especially no need until all the saliva come out. So just slowly softly is okay. Communal eating is not allowed. Selling or sharing of food is also not allowed. So if you have tapao something or you want to eat, please leave BF's premises first, and then only then eat your lunch later on. Everyone must observe good personal hygiene, and then there will be separate pathways for entry and exit. So for the seatings as well, once we're done with the service, just leave it as it is and just leave the premise as soon as possible, because the area will be disinfected and it will be cleaned. So yeah, these are all for the guidelines and the house rules. We will start our day today with the opening puja, and we will have a short meditation led by Sister Sylvia, and afterwards we will continue with the talk. So opening puja. Please do switch off all of your mobile phones. This is a place of worship. Be mindful. This is a good opportunity to transition and keep your mind calm. And please settle down in a comfortable position. Relax. And we will participate in the opening puja. Preliminary homage to the Buddha. Let us all be in Anjali position. Let us pay homage to the Buddha. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Offerings. Please put your palms together to partake in the offerings to the Buddha. The offering of the 5 items allows us to express our gratitude to the Buddha and serves as a symbol to help us remember the teachings. Please join wholeheartedly and read the verses together. Offering of light. Light symbolizes wisdom. May the light of Dhamma dispel the darkness of ignorance. Offering of incense. Incense symbolizes the fragrance of pure moral conduct. This reminds us to cultivate good conduct. Offering of water. Water symbolizes purity, clarity, and calmness. It reminds us to practice the Buddha's teachings, to cleanse one's mind, which is full of desires, ill will, and delusion, to attain the state of purity. Offering of fruits. Fruits symbolize the ultimate fruit of enlightenment, which is our goal. They also remind us that all actions will have their effects. Offering of flowers. Flowers symbolize impermanence. The freshness, fragrance, and beauty of flowers are impermanent. This reminds us that we should all live in the present. Remembering thus, we should reduce our craving and attachment. Salutation to the Triple Gem. Let us pay respects to the Triple Gem. Arahang Samma Sambuddho Bhagava Buddhaṃ Bhagavantaṃ Abhivādami. Swagato Bhagavata Dhammo Dhammang Namasami. Supatipanno Bhagavato Sāvaka Saṅgho Saṅghang Namami. Going for refuge. We chant the verses for taking the 3 refuges. Buddhaṃ saranang gacchami, Dhammaṃ saranang gacchami, Saṅghaṃ saranang gacchami, Dutiyampi Buddhaṃ saranang gacchami, Dutiyampi Dhammaṃ saranang gacchami, Dutiyampi Saṅghaṃ saranang gacchami, Tatiyampi Buddhaṃ saranang gacchami, Tatiyampi Dhammaṃ saranang gacchami, Tatiyampi Saṅghaṃ saranang gacchami. The 5 precepts, Pancha Sila. We chant these verses to observe the 5 precepts. Panatipata Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami. Atinādhāna Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami. Kāmisu Micchāchāra Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami. Musāvātā Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami. Suramiraya Macchapamatatthāna Veramani Sikkhapadang Samadhiyami. Recollection of the Buddha. Let us recollect the sublime qualities of the Buddha. Yeti piso bhagava arahang samma sambuddho Vicha charana sangpanno sugato lokavitu anuttaro purisa dhamma sarati sattha deva manusanang buddho bhagavati. Recollection of the Dhamma. Let us recollect the sublime qualities of the Dhamma. Swakato bhagavata dhammo sanditthiko akaliko ehipassiko opanayiko pachatang veditappo vinyuhiti. Recollection of the Sangha. Let us recollect the sublime qualities of the Sangha. Supatipanno bhagavato savaka sangho Ujjupatipanno bhagavato savaka sangho Nyaya patipanno bhagavato savaka sangho Samici patipanno bhagavato savaka sangho Yatitang cattari purisa yukhani Atta purisa pukala Esa bhagavato savaka sangho Ahuneyo pahuneyo takhineyo Anjali karaniyo Anuttarang punya ketang lokasati. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. So, brothers and sisters, I believe Sister Sylvia needs no introduction to all of us. Anyone new here in Buddhist fellowship or first timer? One person over there? Or no? Oh, two person. Okay. So, basically, to cut short a very long introduction, she is a very accomplished Buddhist scholar as well as practitioner. Since 1992, published a lot of books, but most importantly, Sister Sylvia is our BF's very own Dhamma advisor, and also to many of us, she is also our teacher. So, without further ado, Sister Sylvia will lead us in our meditation, and also then give us a talk titled Death and Beyond. Sister Sylvia, please.
Thank you. May I invite everyone to sit back. Okay, you're on the floor, don't sit back. Sit, relax, upright, comfortably. Switch off all your handphone. Close your eyes, turn off the lights. We're going to do a quick round of calming of the mind. I'm going to introduce you to something simple. We're doing just a short one. I'm mindful. I've been reminded time and again that there's lunch. I mean, we all go off for lunch. People get hungry. Sylvia, can you stop talking so long? So we're going to keep the meditation a bit short. Now, close your eyes, all of you. Just relax. Take this moment as an opportunity to rest the mind. The mind works very hard throughout the days, throughout the weeks, the months. So now we're going to take a moment to rest it. We start by just quietly observing the contact points. Contact points means where you feel the sensation of pressure between your body and the point of contact. So you are sitting on the floor, your buttocks will be touching the floor, the legs, they're all on the floor. I want you to put your mind there, observe the pressure. Feel the contact, feel the pressure, note the pressure. The next thing, observe your body posture. Observe the posture. You should be comfortable, but not bent. So you feel slowly, I want you to observe the pressure, the posture. Feel the posture. If you notice, your form is upright. Be with the form, it's upright. Experience the posture. Feel the posture. Mind is observing the form. And as you observe the form, you will notice subtle, quiet, gentle breathing. It's the body breathing. So observe the pressure, the posture, the breathing. You can see expansion of the diaphragm, rising, falling. It's very comfortable. Just enjoy this breathing. As you breathe in, wish yourself well. May I be well and happy. As you breathe in, wish yourself well. May I be well and happy. As you breathe out, wish the world well. May you be well and happy. So here in your breath, your mind is wholesome. As you breathe in, may I be well and happy. As you breathe out, may the world be well and happy. Do it slowly and calmly. The world makes up of beings seen and unseen. The babies who are yet to be born, the elderly and the sick who will be ending this life. Wish all beings be well and happy. We don't have a lot to give every day, but in this sitting, you can. Your mind is strong. With all sincerity and kindness, with compassion and friendliness, you wish the world well and happy. You count 10 breaths. Breathe in, may I be well and happy. Breathe out, may the world be well and happy. You do this slowly, 10 breaths. And we will end this morning's session. For the few of you who are ready, make sure you bring your mental energy down. Bring down your energy, the mind energy. Feel as if you're standing beneath a shower and have the water rain down your head, down to your feet. When you're done, say quietly, let the merits of my wholesome practice this morning be shared with all sentient beings. Share and then wish the world well. This is your dana for the day. Turn on the lights. Slowly. If you want to continue meditating, you can. It's my first time having people, 10 breaths took so long. Please, there are seats here in front. Did you all feel good? Did you all feel good? Which part was particularly good? Breathing out or breathing in? Both, huh? Hey, how do they appear? See all slides, display setting, duplicate, show. Can you all see? Good morning, everyone, brothers and sisters of the Dhamma. Nice to see all of you again. Okay, we have a bit of interaction, okay? We will ask questions as we go along, and you will enthusiastically reply, okay? Okay, you know, I mentioned the last time we met on 11 October that this series, Death and Beyond, will be covered in three parts. So last time I said for today's session, we're going to do heaven and hell. Then when I went through my research, I realized it's just too much to talk. Because it's not just about heaven and hell. There's just so many more things. So therefore, a new title, Multiple Dimensions and Many Worlds, that's what we're going to cover today. And the third one, likely, I think, 13th December, right? The third talk is on 13th December, and it's on the practitioner's mission. Meaning, as a practitioner, what more do you do with regards to death? As before, citations are from the Pali Canon, mainly from the Theravada tradition, and we will, as much as possible, we'll avoid the speculations, the hearsay, the prejudices, the assumptions, all kinds of mind-made beliefs perpetuated over the centuries. We try and avoid those. As much as possible, we stay with what was captured in the Pali Canon. Okay? So at least you have the assurance that the canon had those words purportedly from Buddha. Okay? That's what we want to do today. Now, very quickly, in the last lecture, I assume all of you watch it multiple times. So in the last lecture, correct me if I'm wrong, we covered these topics, right? We covered Buddha's teaching on the rebirth process, his guidance on the drivers of rebirth destination. My intent in the first talk was to help us, Buddhists, gain confidence that they know what's happening, that they can help themselves and our loved ones. Death is a given. We all know that. But we hope, like preparing for an exam like that, we hope we will do all the right thing that will help ourselves and help our loved ones secure a good rebirth. Okay? And I want to, just for this audience, highlight 2 points from the last talk. Stress again and again, with a virtuous mind, we can determine rebirth destination. It's in the talk. So if you look at this way and say, I don't remember that, go back and watch it. Okay? It's there in the talk. Virtuous mind, you can determine rebirth destination, but if you're habitually unwholesome, habitually complaining and whining and throwing tantrum, habitually, not that one-off time 30 years ago you throw a tantrum. I'm talking about habitually, then you have less ability to shape the rebirth process. Less, I'm being polite, probably no ability to shape your rebirth process. You can't even control your mind what to shape. The importance of dying well, the last 2 slides, they are very important. If you don't remember anything from the last talk, just go back and look at the last 2 slides, okay? The importance of dying well. What does it mean by dying well? So that was the last talk. Today, we're going to cover 7 points. I'm going to explain why I picked this topic and change it like this. We want to talk about how the Buddha know about the other realms. There is a conventional understanding of Buddhist cosmology. I know you all talk about the 31 planes of existence. We want to lay down what was captured in the canon and how did he talk about the different dimensions of existence. There are the higher dimensions and there are the lower dimensions. And by then, we should hit about 12:30, therefore food for thought. Okay? Now, why do we talk about other realms? I feel that it is, as I went through the research, I realized that just to talk about heaven and hell is really, really insufficient. Because the Buddha had mentioned several more worlds. I know that this series, Death and Beyond, is a bit controversial because the ones amongst us who are Western educated, who talk about empirical evidence and beliefs, evidence, proof, conclusive proof, independently verified. We don't have that. We don't have anyone that we know, most of us don't have anyway. Someone has gone off to the next world, took a nice tour, then came back and do reporting. We don't have that. We ourselves probably have not gone through that. So very hard to say, okay, the science proved this or that. We don't have that. So why then do I cover the subject? Because it's a very, very important part of the teaching. Our understanding of the Dhamma will be incomplete if we do not touch on this segment. And this is a very important segment. Because when you have birth, you will have death. This is part of the training. But a critical part is, then what? Then there is another birth before you hit another death. And our practice is all about understanding this, the nature of the mind, the nature of this process, so that we can cultivate properly and consistently. Okay? I want to help the traditionalists. The traditionalists means the ones who believe, no questions asked, what the Buddha teach, he taught rebirth and karma and rebirth. Okay, we believe that, we don't question that. We don't care about science, we believe that. We are the traditionalists, okay? And I want to help affirm their faith. Faith, not so much in the Dhamma, faith that they are all right, that they understand, they do the necessary, they will be okay. And so would their loved ones if they put in the same kind of effort, okay? And to continue with effort to help Buddhists build assurance on how to face death calmly and peacefully. This portion, the last part, facing death calmly and peacefully, is very important to help with the transition. The more knowledge you know, the more understanding you have, the calmer you will be. You go for an exam having no idea, didn't prepare your exam. They didn't prepare for the exam, didn't go through the notes. You go in, I can guarantee you'll be nervous. But if you had gone through the material and you're so sure of yourself, will you be that nervous? Odds are no lah. If you are, then you have a pathological problem. Because if you're very well prepared, you should be fine. And this is what we're going to do, okay? As prepared as we can. Now, you look at the bottom there, there's a whole string of colors. They will tell you who are the translators, okay? And we are using several translators today. How did the Buddha know about the other realms on enlightened night? On enlightened night, in deep jhana, he gained 3 knowledges. The first one, which was discussed in the last talk, was he saw for himself his thousands of births. The life he led, the name he had, the family he had, pain and pleasure he had experienced, and even the food he tasted. So Buddha would have been a food expert because he saw for himself what they ate through the ages. Okay? Second watch of the night, second watch is 10 to 2. 10 p.m. to 2 p.m., around about 4 hours. He saw, he witnessed for himself beings dying and rebirth, the rebirth of beings. And he saw what drove that rebirth process. So that's why I call the karma as a critical driver of the rebirth process. What they did, how was their mind, and how those two affected that rebirth. Okay? And this were from these two verses were from Majjhima Nikaya 4. Fear and Dread by here Biarababa Sutta. My Pali really needs to polish up. With the purified eye, divine eye that surpasses that of human, I saw beings passing away and reappearing, inferior, superior, beautiful or not, fortunate, unfortunate. I understood. He witnessed the event and he had the right takeaway. He understood how beings fared in accordance with their deeds. Now, you will think deeds means action. Action, actual action. But deeds actually mean action by the mind, by the things that they say, and by action. Okay? The first translation is by Bhikkhu Analeo. The second one, it continued. Bhikkhu Analeo had only one portion. Bhikkhu Bodhi had the rest. Beings who were ill-conducted in body, speech, and mind, they revile the noble ones, the wrong views. All these bad actions led to rebirth in a state of deprivation, in a bad destination, in perdition, and even in hell. But those who were well-conducted, they appeared in a good destination, even in the heavenly world. Okay? Buddhist cosmology, is it literal or figurative? We can debate and argue. It doesn't matter. Literal or figurative, we will know when the time comes. For those of you who find it very difficult to accept that it is literal, so be it. Take it as figurative. Here in this life, you have all the planes, higher and lower, and it is not wrong. Here in this life, you will have days when you feel like you're walking on air, walking in the clouds. And there will be days when you feel you have been dragged down to the deepest recesses of hell. You will feel that. So it's okay. So that's figurative. Huh? That's not literal, that's figurative. Literal means when death happens and there is a rebirth, then where do you end up? Okay? And traditionally, it is said to be 31 planes or realms of existence, customarily divided into 3 distinct loka. So basically, I know there are many words there. You can go in and look for access to insight and go for heavens, and you will find this there. Essentially, here we talk about 3 types of world, right? The immaterial world, the ones who passed away when they are meditating in the formless jhana. The fine material world, and this is your heaven. Immaterial, fine material, these are your heavens. And then the sensuous world, where 6 are heavens, plus yourself, the human realm, and said to be 4 bad destinations. Yes? All of you know this? Huh? Don't know this? First time seeing it? All of you kind of know this, right? How many of you know this? 31 planes of existence. 是吗? 对吧? Who don't know, can put up your hand? Oh, okay, now you know, huh? But when I highlight the word traditionally in bold, you know there's a catch there. Okay? I mean, for those of you who know me well enough, you know it's a catch there. Lah. According to canonical record came from the Buddha's own mouth. Huh? This list was not found as it is. As it is. Meaning, Buddha sat there and said, there are 31 planes of existence, blah, 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 blah. That list is not found in the canon. So we can only conclude that that list was populated by material drawn from canon. Then some of you will say, okay, drawn also same. Not same. The closest that we have something similar is from Majjhima Nikaya 120. It's called Rebirth by Choice. In that sutta, if you count that list, heavenly world alone 31. If you count that list, and I will give you the list for you to count, okay? PTO means please turn over. Actually, the canon has no single fixed method of categorizing the multiple dimensions. There's no one method. And you will see these as the Buddha's way of when he was teaching his student, these were the different ways he talked about the different realms. So, by ascending order from the worst because it's super jalat, super painful, to the longest lifespan in a heavenly world. I call it space. I will explain to you why. Heavenly space. So the lowest is hell, to the Brahma realm, and you can find this Majjhima Nikaya 97. Okay? This is the one I introduced in the last lecture. The Brahmin had a conversation with Sariputta, and Sariputta gently brought him all the way to the Brahma realm. Okay? So this is one way of categorizing. Another way is by stations of consciousness, i.e. 7 stations of consciousness. You can find this in 2 suttas, Digha Nikaya 33, Anguttara Nikaya 7.4. For all this you can find online. In Sutta Central you can find these suttas. By abodes of being, in other words, where they stay, the realms in which they lived in. You can find this in Digha Nikaya 15, Anguttara Nikaya 9.24. And finally, you can find by manner of rebirth, how beings are born, Majjhima Nikaya 12. I promised you that you will take a look and count for yourself the number of heavens, right? Voila, count. Count and count quickly. The sensuous world, the Brahma world, the fine material world, the immaterial world, these were names given by Buddha. He named them. Brahma of the 1,000, Brahma of the 2,000. He named them. Okay? Now, maybe the entire Brahma, etc., maybe they are all collapsed together and called Brahma retinue. Maybe. I don't know. Okay? But these are all the names. Moving on. And I left one slide here. I won't go through this. I leave one slide here. You can check later on when you take a look at the YouTube. You can go and take a picture of this and go hunt down all the suttas for yourself. This is only a sample. He gave many more. This is a sample of what he used, sample of what he had said, and then we capture it in the different suttas. Okay, this is a sample. Now the fun part. The higher world. Now, when you share merits, if you recall, when we share merits, we had a stanza. It goes like this: Eta vata cha amehi sampadam punya sampadang. Right? You remember that sentence? And if you look at the words there, Dewa, Buddha, Satta. Dewa, Buddha, and Satta. Right? So Buddha are beings. I put them here, higher beings, as higher beings. I'll show you what they are. In the Ratana Sutta, the Buddha said, whatever beings are assembled here, terrestrial or celestial, may they all have peace of mind and may they listen attentively to these words. May you, the beings, all radiate loving kindness to those humans who by day and night bring offerings to you. Therefore, protect them with diligence. This is from the Ratana Sutta, and here Buddha talk about terrestrial or celestial beings. So Devas Devas, there are celestial and terrestrial ones. How many of you know that? You never knew that, right? Okay, I know some of you are smattering here and there. But here is in the Ratana Sutta, there are terrestrial devas. Devas are deemed higher. Why? Because they have powers, far more powers, but they are not omnipotent, all powerful. They have psychic powers, but they are not all omnipotent. They are governed by different physical and biological laws. They are extremely long-living, not eternal. The point in this is they are not eternal. They experience sukha. Sukha as opposed to dukkha. It's not that they don't have at all. For those of you who think they don't have any, not true. Because you have in the suttas, you have devas trying very hard to dana the monks. And then some monks said, no, only for the humans because we're trying to help them. And the devas feel disappointed. When you feel disappointed, what do you have? Dukkha. They have a lot more control over their environment. But it doesn't mean that everything they want, they get. Mara gets very dukkha a lot of the time because he's trying to entice all of you into his world. Then you all butch up. So every time you practice, he's very disappointed. He has a lot of dukkha. You hear stories of how he goes off and he moans, I cannot convert this monk. So annoying, he said. What is that? Sukha? It's dukkha, right? So devas have dukkha, okay? Okay. Now, we all assume devas are benign, right? In the heart of hearts, do you all have assumption? Got lah, deva ma, right? Deva, sure good one. They're very complex, you know. They're not necessarily benign and helpful. They fight. From the sutta. No, I didn't invent these things. They're all in the sutta. And some are receptive towards the Dhamma. Some even identify themselves as Buddhists because they're followers of the Dhamma. They will come whenever the Dhamma is preached. Others are not. They're much more focused on enjoying themselves. So think of yourself like this. If you're the Asyakya, right? You can be an Asakya. Do you know the meaning of the word Asyakya? Asyakya is a Teochew, right? I think it's a Teochew word for a young, the Saoye, the owner's son. Is that correct? The rich man's son, whom he is himself a rich man until he squandered the family's wealth. But otherwise, Asyakya implies it's a rich man's son. Daughter also, never mind, okay? Kya actually means children. And if they are Asyakyas, the rich man children, they can either enjoy themselves thoroughly, get a sports car, latest Porsche, don't know what, Porsche. You can do that, or you can take the money and do something meaningful and compassionate with it, right? So the same. Devas are very, very well, they have powers over, as I said, the elements and all. So they can either enjoy themselves or they are helpful. Okay, they will help. Not finished yet. Now we talk about the terrestrial beings. I know some of you are really curious about these terrestrial beings. They are lesser deities in the realm of the Chatu Maharajika. Chatu, 4 Maha great Rajika kings. The realm of the 4 great kings. And it's said to reside in 4 directions. So there are the Gandhabas, the Kubandas, the Nagas, the Yakas. Long-living, power over elements. And when I say tremendous capacity to enjoy, I mean they can really enjoy themselves. They throw lovely parties. Okay? They really enjoy themselves. You all fade, man. zook every night type. Yeah. And some are, as I said, ardent supporter, helpful, supportive of Dhamma practitioners. But apparently a minority. Many don't appreciate the Buddha's teaching, can be obstructive, hostile, and even dangerous. I will give you the sutta. It is found in Digha Nikaya 32. Okay, write this down. Discourse on Athanatiya Sutta. There is the leader of this realm, the leader, King Vasanavana. It's really tongue twister. He warned the Buddha that there were antagonistic and dangerous yakas, urged the Buddha to tell his disciples to learn a recitation called Tanata for their protection, so that the non-humans would leave them alone. This was what he said. Okay, I will summarize this very quickly. 4 great kings, they brought their troops along. So these 4 groups, Yaka, Gandhabas, Kumandas, and Nagas, were troops of the 4 great kings, and he brought them all along with him to go to visit the Buddha. Okay, so the first stanza is about them visiting the Buddha with all their troops. And he said to the Buddha, Bante, there are eminent yakas who are not pleased with Bante. Eminent ones meaning high-ranking. Middle-ranking ones not pleased. Inferior ones. So basically the top rank, the middle rank, middle management and followers, all there are those who are not pleased. But there are those who are pleased. So right, correct? Some are Buddha's supporters and disciples, others are not. As a rule, they are not pleased. So they are the majority. The ones who look at the Buddha go, talk, I don't agree. That group is a majority, as a rule. Why? This translation is found in Access to Insight, Piyadasitero. Okay? Buddha taught the Dhamma to establish 5 precepts. 对吗? To them, teaching unpleasant, unpalatable. They don't like his teaching on morality. You have disciples who frequent the isolated, deep forest, dark area, no sound, no breeze, void of human contact. Okay, you are very happy there, but these are the fellows who are there. The eminent yakas haunt these forests. They have no faith in the Buddha's teaching. Please, Bante, learn this so that the displeased yakas can pacify them a bit lah. Actually, translate into English is can pacify a bit lah. Huh? So that monks, nuns, laymen, laywomen, specifically these 4 mentioned by the king, this amounts to the Buddhist community. What is a Buddhist community? Will be monks, nuns, laymen, and laywomen, may be at ease, guarded, protected, unharmed. These yakas, these rascals, they are fierce, violent, given to retaliation. Okay? They are rebels. So what? They have rebellions. Okay? This is terrestrial being. So, you have concluded for yourself, right? Going through. Some of them don't like the Buddha's teaching or moral restraints. They're unhappy. Others are just lawless and dangerous. There's 2 groups. Maybe they are both unhappy and lawless and dangerous. We don't know. Okay? Go some more. Isn't this a fascinating sutta? Yeah. Okay. Now, I want you to look at this. I will again sum it up for you. If you learn this by heart, word perfect in repeating it. These yakas, these nagas, these gandhabas. So it is not yakas only. All the 4 directions, they have rebels and naughty ones. difficult ones, resentful ones. And you look at that, huh? All ranks, male or female, young, maiden, minister, attendant. So what you have is rich society, community, 4 different types of communities of terrestrial beings. And if you reside and they kacau you, this king said, these guys will not obtain hospitality from any town or township that they control. Okay? No place to stay. They cannot live in this kingdom. They will not be able to attend meeting. They will not get married. 去相亲 nobody wants. In other words, the community also will ostracize the rebels. And they'll be ugly. Put an empty bowl over his head and split it in 7 pieces means don't feed him. They will turn him away, ostracize him. Okay? So, what does it say? The leadership supports the triple gem. And they promise to ostracize anyone who deliberately attack the Buddha's followers. After you chant this protection, which is like a passport for safe passage, okay? The chant is a passport for safe passage. It's like an agreement. Then I chant already, you still give me problem, I leave it to your king to tackle you. That's the idea. But it does suggest a complex, crowded, non-human community, right? It does seem to, and with order, structure, and defined rules. Why? Because we talk about the ministers, the attendant, we talk about beings given in marriage. You know, it's like a human realm. It's mirroring a human realm there. Okay? So for those of you aspiring to be a yaka, naga, ganaba, so okay, this is one possible destination. Huh? Hey, hello. Must respect. You cannot giggle like that. Must be respectful. Sorry, they don't mean it. Okay, I put this as special mention. You see, when you talk about the lower realms in the 31 planes of existence, right? What do you have? Hell, animal, ghosts, and asuras, right? In that list, asuras is parked as lower realm. But you look at this, okay? This is in the sutta. Is it a higher realm or is it a lower realm? Because they're clearly very powerful. Buddha described, these are Buddha's words in this Digha Nikaya 20, Mahasamaya Sutta. In this sutta, he described them as having psychic powers and pegged them above Chatu Maharajika heaven, just below Tawatimsa. Tawatimsa is King Saka's land, okay, land of the 33. And so if you're looking at what is said in this particular sutta, the asuras are higher realm, above the Chatu Maharajika, okay? And they also seem to behave like regular, but they are a bit different from the devas. So King Saka's realm and this realm are just just next door, neighbor, neighbor. Then like unfriendly humans, human neighbors, they take things and throw each other. So this is what seems to be happening. You go to Samyutta Nikaya chapter 11. It's an entire chapter there. In this chapter 11, you find them fighting all the time. These asuras, they enjoy a good life. They're given to conflict. They will fight. They happily break the precepts. And they are arch enemies. Over there, you have heard of this story about the asuras and the devas being arch enemies, right? For those of you who go for classes, you have heard of this. But you don't know where it came from. Don't know whether it's a commentary. No, it's actually from the suttas. These are the suttas. Anguttara Nikaya 9.939, Samyutta Nikaya section, entire section 11. And there, all these little ones, they talk about the fights. The word demon is a translation. Sometimes they don't translate the word. So when you use the word demon, you already conclude they are lower realm. But asuras, it's just a translation, okay? And we really don't know. Because if you look at the sutta, it says Dewa Asura. Sangama. Fight between the Dewa and the Asuras. It doesn't say demons there. Anyhow, they lost. And they were eventually banished to live in the ocean. So the ocean is not, doesn't appear to be Hai Ling Wang. According to the sutta, seems to be the Asura's realm. We don't know. Okay, this is a translation by Bhikkhu Ananda Jyoti. You go and check out the sutta yourself. It's all there. But I must tell you, it's a very long sutta. Digha Nikaya, the one, discourse on the Great Convention. It's a very cute little discourse. Okay, it's a very cute, lengthy discourse. It's very long. And it is said in the commentary that the Devas love to hear this discourse. So monks learn this discourse very well. And why the Devas love to hear this discourse is because in this discourse, the Buddha identified the beings by name. I didn't put it here. Originally, when I did the slides, right, I actually captured all the names. Then I realized, wow, like that, the talk will go to 2 o'clock. So I didn't keep throughout the whole slides. The names of all the major devas in the different realms were quoted here, including the Asuras' names, the Nagas' names, the Gandharvas. The names are all listed there. So apparently, they like to know the who's who of the Deva realm, right? And here the Buddha identified that by name. They're very happy. Okay? So you're all going to check this out. Very cute. Okay. Celestial Devas. Celestial Devas, you see the names there, Chatu Maharajika, Tavatimsa, Yama, Tusita. This one, because you're not familiar with, you have heard of Yama and Tusita and Tavatimsa, right? Theravadian community would have heard of all these names. But this one, gods who love to create. Niman Narati, you're not so familiar. And the last one, Paranimita Vasavati. Okay, the last one there is where Mara is. So of the 6 heavens, the 6 sensual heaven, Mara is ranked very high, very powerful. And physically lustrous and colorful, said by the Buddha, they lead exceedingly pleasurable existence. In this particular sutta, Majjhima Nikaya 129, the Buddha said, if there is anything of which it may be rightly said, it's utterly likable, desirable, agreeable, it is of heaven, meaning it's heaven that is utterly likable, desirable, agreeable. Not easy to give a simile on how pleasurable heaven is. So then the Buddha gave the monk, I cut short, but basically the monk said, okay, give us a simile, give us a simile. So the Buddha gave this one. A wheel-turning monarch means the monarch, the king, the emperor, the unifying emperor of India. And this emperor, for him to be able to become emperor of an empire, he will need to, in Buddhist context, 7 treasures, 4 blessings. Okay, no need to know so much, because now no more. So the idea here is he has support, he has wealth, he has women and sons and so on and so forth. Okay, and because of that, he enjoys tremendous pleasure. So Buddha took out one stone in the palm of in his palm, big stone, and he said, "What do you think? What is bigger, the stone here or the Himalayas mountain?" And of course, the correct answer is stone. Of course, the mountain, right? The mountain. So the monk says, the stone you have picked up is tiny compared to the Himalayas. It doesn't even count. And the Buddha says, exactly. The pleasure that the idea of the wheel-turning monarch means he is the human who has every reason to say his life is pleasurable. It's the ideal of the time, means you're this monarch, your life is ideal. So he said, even this guy is macam batu, just a stone compared to the pleasure experience in the heavens. Okay? So you can imagine, but we can't imagine, but you can imagine that it will be really, really magnifico, right? It must be magnificent. Huh? Okay, now we talk about lifespan. The lifespans are all in the suttas. Okay, when people start talking about celestial, all this, the lifespan of the devas, this one are all in the suttas. Whether or not you believe, it's your prerogative, but this is really in the canon. Lifespan of a devas range from between 9 million human years to over 9,200 million human years. But not eternal. Okay. Still not eternal. It will end. And in the manner that they appear, they disappear. So they are spontaneously born, and they will spontaneously vanish. Okay? This is from this sutta. Okay, I will show you the next slide. He said, Buddha said, must do mathematics one. 50 years in the human realm, 1 day and night for the god of the Chatuk Maharajika. Okay, your 50 year. Okay, for me, right, I'm past 50, right? So if I were upstairs, it would be 1 day, right? It will be 1 day. You wait so long, collect CPF, only 1 day. Okay? 12 such months, 30 such day is a month, 12 such month is a year. So you go in times, the lifespan 500. 500 divine years. Okay? 500 divine years. It's possible that someone who observes 8 precepts, when he dies, it will be reborn there. Okay? And in this particular sutta, it's all about the 8 precepts. So if you observe 8 precepts, you can end up in this world or the next, the Tavatimsa. That one is 100 years. Right now, if I'm in heaven, I'm afternoon. Only afternoon. Because 100 years is 1 day and night for the Tavatimsa gods. Lifespan 1,000 of the divine years. And it goes on. 200 years, Yama, 400 years to Sita, and you go on, and you start counting, and this is called Anguttara Nikaya 8.42. For those of you aspiring to live for a long time, you can check this out, okay? 你嫌得不够老啊 feel free, okay? Now, I will show you the tabulation. In case you are very grateful for this, I didn't come up with it. It's actually captured in this table. This table was actually done. I found it on the internet. I did my own mathematics calculation. I calculated soon. So I put them all here for you. In this sutta, in this particular AN 8.42, the ticket to heaven, observing 8 precepts. Okay, 加油, 加油. But in other suttas, it's the 10 wholesome deeds. What are the 10 wholesome deeds? Don't kill, don't steal, no sexual misconduct, by 3 action, 4 verbal. Don't lie, don't always scold people, harsh speech, don't scandal, talk bad about people. Scandal, I know many of you say, I never scandal people, I never scandal. Then I say, talk bad about people, I also never talk bad. You gossip? You gossip or not? If you gossip, since when you gossip good? Normally when you engage in gossip, you are gossiping about something bad. That's talking bad. Okay, then you're already deducting your points from your heavenly ticket, right? Yeah, you then you bought for like 10,000 human year type one, right? Then you get scandal, they deduct. Okay? So don't do that. And then the last one is frivolous, meaningless talk. Basically, that's just blah, 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 blah. You know, like meaningless chatting. The last three, by mind. Coveting other people's things, always wanting other people's things. People got nice car. Hey, 老公, go buy nice car. That kind of coveting. Wishing that other people's things are yours. That's the idea. Ill will, and wrong view. Wrong view, another talk. Okay? We don't go into that for now. So you see, have you all taken picture of this? Yeah, of course. It's needless to ask. Okay. Brahma world. Remember earlier on I said Buddha, Deva, and Brahma, right? 3. So this is Brahma world. Entry passport, meditation. Okay? And this came from a sutta. There is the case when an individual withdrawn from sensuality, withdrawn from unskillful qualities. This is Ajahn Thanissaro translation. Enter, remain in the first jhana. And all these, you look at the word, rapture, piti, and pleasure, sukha, born from withdrawal, accompanied by directed thought and evaluation. It's vitaka vichara, okay? The words that I underline, savors, long for. In other words, this individual, he is a very good meditator. Because only the good meditator would enjoy like that. He savors, he really enjoys his meditation, and he keeps going back to it. The word long for, you may think, oh, craving. Yeah, he enjoys it. He really enjoys it. He finds satisfaction. So yes, there is craving, but this kind of craving is the craving for the quiet of the mind, by the practice itself very pure and wholesome when he's in the meditation. Staying there, fixed on that, dwelling often, not falling away, meaning to say he does it so often, it's automatic for his mind. His mind goes quiet, boom, he goes there. Every time he watch the breathing, the doctor say breathe in, then he go and measure, right? The guy goes into jhana. Because just by putting his mind on just by aware of the mind, he goes quiet. You know what I mean? Yes. So, yeah, then you're going this way. Huh? For those of you who know what I mean, you're going this way. Huh? Devas of the Brahma retinue. See the word retinue, Brahma retinue? I think this is the one that they collapse and call it the Brahma retinue. Have a lifespan of an aeon. I chose Ajahn Thanissaro's translation because of this word, run-of-the-mill person. He translated this very nicely. Others would call worldling. But run-of-the-mill means the average, national average. The regular man. In other words, you are not a practitioner of the first order. You are not actually on the Dhamma path. You just enjoy your meditation a lot. The yogis, enjoy meditation. You will then end up going to this realm, and it lasts for an aeon. The lowest level is 1 aeon. Then you used up everything, then the rest of your karma will kick in. So if your karma is actually not very good, the rest of the karma, you're not a really nice person, but for whatever reason you can meditate, and you really enjoy it, and you're very fixated, you're obsessed with it. So you can do it. But when you end up, you finish the aeon, then karma takes over, you go to the next rebirth, and it can be anywhere, including the lower realms. Okay? But a disciple of the Buddha, a practitioner, he will stay, he will finish the state, he will end. Unbound right in that state means you end up in a higher realm, you continue your practice in a higher realm, you will end your game there. That's what it means. And he said, this is the difference, the distinction, the distinguishing factor between an educated disciple of the noble ones and an uneducated run-of-the-mill person. Now, you will say, educated, must sign up for Buddhist Pali College. No, educated here means training. You understand the practice, you do the practice. It doesn't mean you got to study, get PhD. It doesn't mean that, okay? It's just a translation thing. The point about this stanza is, if you cultivate properly and understand the Dhamma properly, enough for you to internalize it as part of your mental DNA. Then come what it may, whatever happens, you move on. There you continue the practice. Okay? And it means cultivating the mind. There are certain mental states. There are 5 mental states you want to cultivate properly. Faith, morality, understanding of the sutta, understanding of the sutta, generosity, and wisdom. Those are your 5 mental states. You want to cultivate those and cultivate them well. So that when the time comes, you are not afraid. You're all ready for the transition. Move on. Okay? Now back the fun part. Lifespan. Look at that, huh? You hit first jhana, lifespan of 1 aeons. You hit second jhana, it's called the Abhasara Devas. Got name one, no? Got name one. Abhasara Devas, 2 aeons. Third jhana, Sukhakinha Devas. So you wear your badge. Sukhakinha, okay? 4 aeons. And the final one, Vihapala Devas. 500. You know what? Kakalai. Should get scolding. Practitioners say, you're telling people to go to where? But seriously, this one is really long, okay? Abhasaras, Devas, they have rays of light emitting from their body, like lightning, like chick, 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 chick. They subsist on joy, meaning they feed on joy. Okay, they feed on it. Joy, it's nutriment for them. Your body cannot just take joy. Theirs is fine material. Joy is enough. Time to time, they will shout, Aho Sukkang, Aho Sukkang. Then lightning strikes, zzz, right? Hey, this is just being fun. You all don't go home and tell your children. That is the Abhasara Devas. Right? It's just laughing away. Just enjoying their good fortune. We are rejoicing in their good fortune. Okay? Completely enveloped in ease. Their world forms the 3rd station of consciousness. Remember just I talked about 7 stations of consciousness? This is the 3rd station of consciousness. Uniform body, different in mind. Perception diverse. Same body, different in mind. All light, ma? All light. No gender, by the way. Brahma world, no gender. It's all light. Then the next level, Sukhakinha, radiate light from the body, steady. This is like pulsar, steady. Steady brightness, not in flashes. Serene, peaceful, filled with sukha, right? Filled with sukha, very serene, very tranquil. They don't yell and yes. They don't do that. Dignified, right? Serene, uniform in body because all light, even in perceptive power. Why? Because these are the Brahma Vihara. Metta got different taste or not? Karuna got different taste or not? So if the mind is like that, it's the same taste. My taste of metta, my taste of karuna, mudita, upeka will be exactly as yours. So the taste is the same, okay? The last one I tried, I did my research. I couldn't find a lot of material. I found this material literally very fruitful. I am sorry, I didn't search hard enough. But this is all I found. Because for those of you who find more, right, you can text me and say, we found more. You're hopeless, your research limited. Okay, you can text BF, BF will send to me. Okay, this is the Brahma realm. Now, this one is, again, as I said, these are all from internet. You don't have to go memorize. You want to take picture quickly. Okay? This is the lifespan. You look at that. 84,000 eons. Neither perception. This is arupa jhana because it's immaterial. Very, very, very subtle. Very, very subtle force. 84,000 aeon. Okay, then some of you will ask, aeon means what? How long is aeon? Okay, Buddha also answer. Buddha's reply. So the monks are also very curious. Buddha, how long is an aeon? It's not easy to explain. Buddha, can you give a simile? Okay, I give one. So here it goes. There's a huge stone mountain, a league long, a league wide, a league high. Now, I also give you what that translates into our human language. A league is 3.9 to 7.4 kilometers if you're a European. But we're English-speaking land, so 4.83, okay? Almost 5 kilometers is 1 league. So this is a really 1 kilometer league, okay? Long, wide, high. No cracks, no hole, one solid mass. Every century. You know why century? Tawa Timsa heaven, right? 1 day. Buddha very specific, fine cloth. Because if your cloth is rough, you can friction it away faster. He doesn't even give you the luxury of a rough cloth. It's a fine cloth. And in his time, the best material from Kasi. Okay, from Kasi. Benares. Okay, the deer park. Remember the deer park? Yeah, Kasi. And by this, your huge stone mountain worn away before the aeon comes to an end. Now, why did I spell aeon differently here? American spelling. This is Ajahn Sujatos. Okay? That's the same. Aeon with the A or without the A, but it's either American or British. So that's how long an aeon is. Every 100 years, you take your super soft silk material and rub the stone. Rub that stone mountain. You wear out, they haven't finished. That's what he meant. Okay? And he said, we have gone through so many hundreds and thousands. So we basically know standard. We're still here. Moving around. Then another simile. So for those of you who cannot imagine an aeon, right? Cannot imagine a mountain. Now he gave you another one. Iron City. Same thing. A league long, wide, high. It is a city full of mustard seeds. Every century take one away. Now, no fine cloth. This will just take one. So every 100 years, you take one. This is like a lot of seeds. You finish, the seeds finish, the aeon hasn't come to an end yet. We get the picture, huh? Okay. Lower realm. It's about 12 o'clock, about time to talk about lower realm. Canonical texts, if you look at all the canonical texts, they actually only mention 3. All the texts. As far as I can see, right? As far as in all my, up to this point, in all my research, and you must assume that it was quite extensive, it only mentioned 3, okay? Lower because suffering is the natural order, dukkha. And the deeper, the more excruciating. It's just dukkha, pure dukkha. Now, I don't want to belabor this part. Okay, we are discussing from Peta downwards because the canon seems to say that Peta better than animal. Some of you may disagree, but I don't disagree with Sariputta. Okay? So you have this conversation, and in this conversation, Dhanajani was asked, which is better, hell or animal? And he answered, animal. Then which is better, animal or ghost? He answered, ghost. Now, if his answer was wrong, Sariputta would say, wrong. But he didn't say wrong. So then we assume this must be how the canon take it. Okay? We call it ghost because that's what we know. But actually the term Peta means departed ones. And the material information on the Petas, you can find it in one entire collection called Collection of Peta Stories. But Peta Watu was not compiled. In its current form, it was compiled later. Okay? Which part came from the Buddhists that we don't know. But as it is, as you see it today, it's a later compilation. But Samyutta Nikaya, there is actually one Samyutta. Samyutta is a lovely source of material. Samyutta Nikaya, chapter 19. It's called the Lakkhana Samyutta. Personal sighting by Mahamoggallana. But then why call Lakkhana? Because Lakkhana was the monk with him. Lakkhana didn't have the divine eyes. Mahamoggallana did. So when they go on their arms round, and they encounter these petas, Mahamoggallana would smile. Lakkhana would be curious and ask, why you smile? And then Mahamoggallana would explain what he saw. Then when they go back to the Buddha, they will repeat, and the Buddha say, yeah, I've seen that one also. Okay? So this is from the Samyutta. I will show you a few peta stories, the form of the petas. Petas come in different shapes and sizes. Voila. Disfigured humanoids. So the body hair like spears. Okay, this spears flying through the air and piercing him. Can be spears, can be knife, can be arrows, depending on which sutta you look at. Then another one was a skeleton. I think this was only one skeleton flying and chased and being packed by vultures. He says vultures and hawks and so on. And then there was another one, which is only a trunk. A flying trunk with eyes and mouth on its chest. Then another one, not another. Many ones were flying, screeching lumps of flesh. They are literally just lumps of flesh. Man sunk over his head in a sewer. Another one in the sewer eating dung. Another one a flying Scotchman. These are all in the sutta. I gave you all the suttas there. So for those of you who are morbid and curious, feel free to check them out. Okay? And Buddha talked about what led to that problem. All the petas had massively broken precepts when they were human. Massive. So usually taking lives, causing tremendous, immense pain, being cruel to practitioners and so on. So flying skeleton was a cattle butcher. Flying trunk was an executioner. Flying lumps of flesh were either butchers or hunters. This scorched female peta was vying with her rival for the king's love and actually did this to a rival. Remember the weaponized body hair? Torture, butchers, hunt. So they are all there. You can go and check it out for yourself. Most of them would have spent aeons in hell even before coming as petas. In that particular collection, okay? There are others, but in that particular collection, these are the names given. Not eternal, but how long depends on their karma. Lifespan is undetermined, okay? We move on. Don't belabor. In another sutta, now I told you there are other types of petas, and this is the one that I think we are more familiar with. So there are the ones that look, if you can see, horrifying pictures, but they're the ones that look like that. Spontaneously a reason and still remember the loved ones. Outside the wall, they stand. At the crossroads and doorposts, to their own home returning. They return to their own home. When an ample meal of food and drinks is spread, no one remembers them because of their karma. I'm going to show something to you that you may be stunned a little. There seem to be, you look at the text, and you come to your own conclusion. This is my conclusion, that petas can consume human food. I share Bhikkhu Agachita's conclusion. I share that. The translation in yellow was translated by Bhikkhu Agachita. His translation is spot on. I've gone through and looked at the original also. So translation is spot on. Okay? Those who have sympathy gives thus to their relatives pure, rich, suitable food and drinks, thinking, let this be for our relatives, may they be happy. Then those departed relatives who come and gather earnestly rejoice at the food and drink, saying, long live our relatives, on account of whom we get this. To us this offering has been made, we have been honored. To the donors it is not without benefit. Then you say, this one doesn't say they can eat, but you look at the next one. Brahmin Janu Sani's talk. This is in Anguttara Nikaya. You take someone who had broken his precept massively, body breaks up, end up in ghost realm. There they survive feeding on the food of the beings in that realm, or they survive feeding on what friends and relatives provide them from here. The conditions there are right, so the gift is the one who lives there. You look at that word, or they survive feeding on what we provide them from here. Okay? Some more. In Sigalo right? Sorry. In Sigalo they mention children have 5 responsibility towards parents, right? The 5th of Sigalo responsibility, the 5th one, children to parents, Buddha said, make offering to the departed. You tell me, if offering doesn't reach them, departed means peta. I mean, it's basically beings move on. If they don't get it, why did the Buddha say this? And there are other suttas where he talk about making offerings to the departed. This is just one of them, a more familiar one. In the same sutta, it's called Tirokutta Sutta, the yellow. There is no farming, basically the world is barren. No means of production, no economy. It's so cute, look. No farming, no cattle, no trading, buying and selling of gold. Okay, gold standard there. What is given here, the deceased, they subsist there. Even as water, rain on high ground flows to the lowland, accordingly, what is given here reaches them. Okay? When we make our offering, please remember this. I know sometimes we are human, so busy, get ready, run away. You run so fast. Don't. We do it with gratitude and humility. We keep our mind wholesome and pure. We recall them with love and care. They care for us. They love us. They look after us. We do this for them. So when you do your offering, please remember humility, wholesomeness with gratitude. This is what you must do. So this is what the Buddha said. This is not the Peta's thinking. It's you. He gave me gifts. He did things for me. They were my relatives, friends, and companions. To the departed ones, we should give offering, remembering what has been done in the past. So you remember what they had done. You recall. You show your respect, your love, your gratitude, wholesome mind. Afterwards, I will ask all of you to join me in this. Okay? And they can receive. Feel joy and be grateful. Earlier on, I already used this phrase. They come, they gather, they rejoice, they say, long live, on account whom we got this. Okay? Final one, animal. Now, I don't have to prove the existence of animal. Haven't you seen? Creepy crawlies and all. So why am I introducing one slide on animals, right? Because some of us ask this question. Do we really get reborn as animal? What exactly did the Buddha say? You remember this particular sutta? The last talk I introduced this Kukaravatika Sutta, dog duty ascetic. So the Buddha said, if someone develops dog duty, dog habit, dog mind, dog behavior fully uninterruptedly, You go to sleep, you sleep in a kennel. Having done so, when you passed on, reappears in the company of dogs. It's only one of two realms. End up in hell or in the animal realm. Don't even become the petas. You don't even qualify for petas. If you imitate dogs too well, you end up in their company. Okay? Now, other story. This one is from, this is a story told. And it's told in relation to this particular Dhammapada verse. And it's a story of Thera Tissa. Thera Tissa was given a robe which he absolutely loved. Very territorial about the robe. Have you all heard of this story? I know some of you have. Oh, it's this wise nodding. There are many wise nodding here. Okay? So, monk passed on while still being very territorial about his robe. Then it is a practice amongst in the Sangha that when a monk passed on, his belongings, the things that he used, will be divided amongst the other members. And while they were going to dismantle his robe, right, share out his robe, there is this little squeaking inside, because he was reborn as a louse, as an insect living in the robe. This is a monk, you know. His mind could have taken him up, but because he died, being very worried about his robe, very, very worried. He was clinging onto the rope, so he clung onto the rope. He's stuck there. And I think it was Buddha who heard this noise and told the monks, don't touch the rope, leave it alone. 1 week later, you can use it. So 1 week later, this monk reborn as a Dewa, as he rightly should. Then they dismantled the rope. They basically shared the rope. So this is a story about how it could end up. Just as rust arising from iron eats away the base from which it arises. So, okay, this is the Dhammapada story. There's another story, which is very famous. For those of you who has done Buddhist diploma course, YMBA, this, I think, was one of the stories you have to learn for year 1. Year 1 or year 2, right? This is the one. It is about two co-wives who, as indicated, hunted each other through 3 lives. So I'll tell you the story in full, but this phrase is one of my favorite verses. Hatred is never appeased by hatred in this world. By non-hatred alone is hatred appeased. This is an eternal law. And basically the point here is, for the stanza, when you are angry with someone, or when there is a fight, you continue fighting, you just continue fighting for lives. At some point, one of you must give up, let go, stop fighting, give love. Avera, give love, pacify the anger. Only then will this tension switch, okay? And this is a story, Kala Yakini, Yaka, remember? This is a female Yaka. It's called Kala, the female Yaka, Kala Yakini, okay? And Kala Yaka, in that life of the Buddha, a demon was chasing after a woman who was carrying her baby. The woman fled, landed up in the monastery where the Buddha happened to be. She ran to the Buddha, please help, please protect me. And the Buddha said, sit down. And then Kala came, hey, you, sit. Then he explained to them what happened 3 lives back. I can't remember which is what. That's why I put it like that. 2 wives hunted each other. So it started with wife number 1, who was barren and was afraid that the husband will drop her. So told the husband, let me arrange for you to be married to another woman who will then produce your son. So she did. She arranged the marriage. She got the lady in. And the lady got pregnant. And depending on which story you read, sometimes the lady actually survived 2 poisoning for her baby. The 3rd one killed and she died along with the baby. But some will just cut short and one time, that's it. poison. She actually meant to poison, to cause a miscarriage. She didn't expect to kill the woman. But anyhow, the woman died, along with the baby, stillborn. And when she was dying, she swore revenge. Next life, I will eat your kid. So life number 2, hen and cat. So the lady who was poisoned became the cat. The poisonous became the hen. Okay? And then the hen eggs were eaten by the cat. Eggs. So when the chicken was finally killed, she swore revenge. I'm coming back. Eat your kid. So this time round, poisonous was a leopard, and the other lady was a doe. And then, now I got lost already. Poisonous is a leopard. Now, so poisonous now is a human, and the poisoned is the yaka. Okay. Now I got it out. So the good thing that come out of this is I got my stories right. So the final life is poisonous is now the woman running for her life, and the yaka was the one who was killed. And the Buddha told them, your fight went back 2 lives before. And that was when they kind of woke up and they stopped. And then the human lady, if I remember correctly the story, the human lady then gave the baby to the yaka and said, I took yours, I give you mine. Yaka took one look at the baby, fell in love. And so now the yaka became nanny. Kala yaka nanny, okay? Because she fell in love with the kid. She loved the child. And the child kind of, they bonded. So that's how they stopped the fight. But the main intent of telling you the story is, it is told in the canon that humans were born as animals, okay? Okay, finally, hell. Pegged as the lowest because of extreme suffering, misery. They are trapped for a long. Now, here also, time is measured in aeon. And the Buddha, again, a stone. Picking a stone address. What do you think? Is the stone bigger? Okay, so here the story is, a man, he's been stabbed 300 spear. 300 spear. Stab. He said painful or not? Painful. Then same thing. Take a stone up and say which is bigger, the stone or the Himalayas mountain? Of course it's the Himalayas. So therefore the suffering in hell, compared to the suffering of this individual stabbed by 300 spears, that one is way worse. Relative size. Stone and Himalayas, suffering in hell, Himalayas. Being stabbed, the stone. So imagine how horrible it is. Okay. Now, I don't want to go too much into this. I just want to clarify some points here. This is the sutta where Yama was mentioned as the idea of him being like an official, because Chinese mythology, right? The Chinese talk about the 18 levels of hell and Yan Luo Wang and all those things. Okay, it came from the canonical text, but not 18 level. It's just there was some kind of the hell warden. The idea is also here, and then they had an interview with the king, and the main thing is the lesson here. The king asked the individual, "Hey, you never saw? Did you not see that?" Among human beings, there's a little baby collapsed in its own urine and feces. Yeah, I saw that. This is the one who answered is the being who was dragged down to hell. Okay, and then the King Yama asked, "Did it not occur to you that if you are born, you are not exempt from rebirth? You will die. You are born, you will die. Did you not notice that?" He says, "I didn't know. I negligent." And because you are negligent, you didn't do good by body, speech, and mind, they'll punish you. They'll punish you. You look at the word he said. The deed wasn't done by your parents, people close to you. It was by you. You alone will experience the result. Now, I don't want to go into all those gory details. I want you to know what is said here. The learning point is in this para. Okay? That's why it's the biggest para. Look around you. There are 5 messengers of the gods. Birth, baby born, is a symbol. It's the first message that there is this transition. Baby came from somewhere. Don't say the womb. So the idea here is there is birth, there will be death. So the next messenger will be old age, sickness, death. And the last one is punishment by the state. You see for yourself, you witness for yourself the transitions of life. And when people have done wrong, they get punished by the state. Can't you link the two? That's his point. So there are 5 messengers here. Birth, old age, sickness, and death. That's 4 of them. Plus punishment by the state for evils or breaking the laws or doing wrong thing. His point was there are 5 messengers from the gods. Divine messengers. Meaning messengers of nature. Did you not notice? And the individual said, oh yeah, I negligent. Buddha said that? What's that? Not Buddha. King Yama said, no one to blame but yourself, because sometimes we also say it is not our fault. Circumstances like that, not our fault. And he's saying, Yama is saying, don't blame others. You chose by your speech, by how you think, by how you act, you chose to be unwholesome and to hurt, to cause pain, to create trouble. You chose. Because you chose to do it, you will feel the effects. That was the point, okay? And in MN130, Messengers of the God, the point here is they will feel pain, sharp, severe, acute, and so on, and they do not move on from that realm until the karma is eliminated. Okay? Exact number of hell we don't know, but they're given all kinds of scary names. All kinds of scary. In the sutta. This was said in the sutta. Okay. No need to see. Next, last one. Okay, one of the last slides. Duration is measured in aeons. It ends when the karmic force ends, of the evil ends. So this is told, this particular sutta, you see, it's called Kokalika Sutta. So the monk is Kokalika. Kokalika monk was one of Devadatta's right-hand man. Evil guy, really, really evil. Spent his last few years, I think, complaining about Sariputta and Moggallana. He's a really rude guy. He always basically scandal against the Arahant, Sariputta and Moggallana. So at the end, he developed all kinds of, I think, he boils and then he died and he ended up in Paduma hell. The Buddha now gave names to all the hell. In this particular one, he named the hell. How long? And in this particular case, he talked about a cut, 20 measures sesame seed, every century, 1 seed taken out. You can use up the 20 measure. Then some of you will say, hey, just now you measure lead, now what's the measure? I don't know, I never checked. 20 measure must be very, very, very big. You assume it's a lot of seeds. A lot of seeds. And then he goes on. You every 100 year pick up 1 seed. 1 sesame. You all know sesame seed, right? Big or small? Right? Like that. So small, right? It's actually, you can see, but it's really, really, really tiny. So it's 20 measures, must be really huge. Every 100, take away 1. And even after you use up everything, 20 measure use up more quickly than would a lifetime be in Abuddha hell. And the 20 lifetime Abuddha equal 1 Nira Buddha hell. 20 Nira Buddha, 1 Ababa hell. 1 ababa, 20 ababa, 1 atata. 20 atata, 1 ahaha. Seriously. The names are very cute. 20 ahaha, 1 kumuda. 20 kumuda, 1 sugandika. Now it's getting more dignified, the name. 20 sugandika, 1 upalaka. And then pundarika. And then finally we get to paduma. So what's the answer? Long time. Really long time. Okay. We laugh. Must lighten the mood a bit lah. Okay, the final 2 slides. I'm going to end this talk with this slide. Because we don't want to get people all very... Now, when we start talking about hell, everybody very anxious. You look at what the Buddha say, okay? Samyutta Nikaya 42.8. You take a teacher, he says, you kill a creature, you still commit sexual misconduct, or lies, you go to hell. If you are devoted to that teacher, then you worry, right? Then you will worry. You will then get the view, I too am going to hell. Unless they give up that speech and thought, let go of that view, they will be cast in hell. The point here is, if you get a wrong teacher who tell you in very deterministic way, do bad, go to hell, that kind of very deterministic, then you are frightened. And you keep thinking about it. Die, I did one bad, right? I squashed the ant, die, I'm going to hell. The Buddha said that you go to hell. But the Buddha, danger with obsessing about past mistakes. Don't obsess. Don't keep thinking, don't keep worrying. It's not the deed, it's the thought and the fixation and the fear. You recall last talk, I talked about the executioner who had he understood a teaching from the Buddha. He died recalling the teaching. He ended up in heaven. He didn't degenerate into a lump of flesh, which could have happened, right? Now, this is the one that I want us all to remember. The Buddha, you see, the word here is, he understood. He criticized and denounced killing, meaning he said, don't do it. Don't kill. Don't steal. He said that. He taught that. Then we, his student, we, his disciple, we're very devoted to his teaching. We reflect. The Buddha criticizes and denounces killing living beings, stealing, sexual misconduct, lying. I have killed. See that? I have killed. That's not right. That's not good. I feel remorseful. But I can't undo what I have done. Reflecting like this, they give up killing. They don't kill. That's how to give up bad deed and get past it. The idea here is, you know it's wrong, you feel bad about it, you say, I won't do it anymore. I will move on. I don't do it anymore. And you don't. You say, I don't do it anymore, then 1 week later you do. Then, I don't do anymore, then 1 week later you do. That's not letting go. That's not repenting, being remorseful correctly. You are not. If you are really, truly a disciple of the Buddha, you very sincerely you say, I won't do it, I won't do it. I move past it. So that's our practice. Our practice is to know the unwholesome things that we must avoid doing. Every time your mind steers that way, you hold the brake. You say, don't go in there. The past is the past. It's done already. But you must forgive and you must repent. You must do it correctly. I will let go. I won't do it. And then we don't do it anymore. So this is what we have to give up. Killing, stealing, sexual misconduct, lying, divisive speech, speech that divide people, harsh speech, talking nonsense, covetousness, ill will, wrong view, have the right one. This particular sutta actually is much longer. Talk about the wrong one, avoid all this, do the right one, and all these other ones, okay? This is Ajahn Sujato's translation. To me, this is very comforting advice. We must be able to forgive our own past, our own mistakes. You talk about forgiveness. You must first forgive yourself. I may have been like this, but no more. I won't do it. And then let go of the fear. Have faith. You believe in the Buddha. You believe in the teaching. You do the right thing. You uphold what you say you want to be, want to do. Observe the right thoughts. Observe the right action. Be kind and generous. We go from there. The past is the past. Okay? Focus on cultivating dana, sila, bhavana. These three actually captures the entire practice. You say, Sai, only three. The third one captures everything. Dana is generosity, meaning to say your mind learn to share, to give, to embrace. Sila is restraining from unwholesome action and uphold wholesome action. Speech and mind, body, speech and mind. Body, speech and mind. Yeah. Bhavana is cultivation, not meditation, cultivation. Cultivation in terms of knowing what's wholesome, we do what's wholesome. As much as possible, what is wholesome. Number two, cultivating wisdom. Understand our mind's nature. Understand what are your motivations. Stay with wholesome motivation. Do good, avoid evil. That kind of, it's really on cultivating wisdom. Okay? Consolidating the mind on understanding and wisdom. We are all here. I assume that's what we are all doing. Not just having a fun on Sunday, but really making effort to understand the teaching and apply the teaching in our daily life. Okay. I said nature takes its course, meaning to say, if you have done, look, you go for an exam, you would have done all your preparation, you go in, that's it. Nature takes its course, right? That's the idea. You have done, in this life, you cultivate the wholesomeness, be mindful, be skillful in your speech and action and the thoughts that comes into the mind. Spend time reflecting on how the mind works, understand its nature, etc., 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 etc. Then when the time comes and you're on your deathbed, have faith, be at peace, let be. That's all. Don't worry. What's next? What's next? You have done. Keep telling yourself, I prepare for PSLE already, I'm done. A bit more class. I prepare for O-levels already, I'm done. Okay? Just tell yourself that. You're fine. You've done a lot of good in this life, is good enough. Okay. Okay, they're all there. For those of you who are interested, okay, all this, basically, it's a compilation. Sorry. I tell you what, we'll do this one first. Can I, wait. I've placed the slide a bit off. I'm going to do sharing of merits first. Then we'll end with this slide. Okay, I know you're all familiar with this slide. But here I want all of you, oh yeah, sorry. Q&A first. A lot of questions? 2 questions, fine, come. Any question? We'll do the floor first, go ahead, yes.
Thank you so much, Sister Sylvia. So much effort you put in. I have one question, it's always stuck in my head. How do you know it is time? So, I mean, my point is that, so we always say when, assuming I'm dying, I don't know I'm dying or not. So the normal people say, June, don't give up. Fight for your life. Or I prepare to move on. So the mindset, should I fight to, how do I know? It is the time for me to, let go. Easy to say, right? But, how do you know? Maybe I can stay for another, I don't know, mind over matter or whatever, So how do you describe this?
Okay. You're right. We don't know when is the last point.
Yeah.
We will never know what is that exact last moment and so on. The point is, in the teaching, is don't think about that clock. Don't put your mind on the clock. The clock is a man-made object. All you have is passing moments. And in these passing moments, if your mind is in its natural state, and in the natural state it is wholesome, it's generally easygoing, generally pure, generally, if your mind is wholesome and gentle and kind and respectful and loving, if your mind is naturally like that, doesn't matter when is the end. You let be, and as I said, let nature take its course. And then when the time comes, the time comes. Don't think about that clock. Okay? Now, maybe your question is not like that, but maybe your question is, if I am sick and I'm dying and maybe I can have treatment, do I keep continuing the treatment? Is that probably the second one? You continue with treatment as long as treatment is offered. You're living not for yourself, When you are right down to that last moment, right? If you're down to your last year, we don't know which is the day, but let's say you're down to your last year. It shouldn't be living for yourself. All your life you have lived for yourself. Now you are living because another loved one wants a time with you. People, it's the world around you who are still clinging, who are still attached. You help them prepare to let go. So if you spend your time buying time for another day, that's a waste of time. Why? Because that day will come. What you want is buy time for spiritual cultivation, or at least to help your family prepare, to help your family feel your love, feel that your life has been meaningful because you had done something, one more hour to do something for another, one more day to do something for another. That is focusing on another. By the end of time, of this lifetime, right? By the end of it, why hold on to anything? It really should be about one more hour to help another, one more day to help another. Then that's meaningful. One more day to eat char kway teow, meaningful or not? Not meaningful. One more day to enjoy another episode of the Korean drama, meaningful or not? Not meaningful. You might as well ask them to burn the thing, burn literally. Bring along and watch. Don't forget, throw in the DVD. Oh, no more DVD. I don't know what else you have. But meaningful if one more day to touch another mind in a wholesome way. One more day to help another individual come to the path. Even for the Buddha, whose life is immeasurably wholesome, immeasurably, meritorious, right? The Buddha's life. Right down to the end, is one more day to convert, to help one more individual into the stream, onto the path. And because of that, an inspiration for generations to come. That's meaningful. Okay? So for the individual, don't worry so much about the treatment or the form. The form will fade, the form will fall apart. As the Buddha calls it, it will fall apart. If you were to buy time, make it worthwhile. One more stanza you read. One more meditation breath you take. One more may I be well and happy and may the world be well and happy you extend. Then it's worthwhile. So your life at the end is measured by how much wholesomeness you can project, share, inspire at the end. Does that answer your question? Not quite the way you want it, lah. But my key point really is make it a learning experience. Make it a verb, not a noun. A noun is time. 1 day, 1 hour, 2 days, 3 hours. That's a noun. A verb is action, speech, mind. Wholesome, kind, loving, giving, respect, inspire, motivate, learning, cultivation. That's a verb. Go for the verb. Because life is a process. Okay? Yeah.
Any other question? If not, we'll take Sister Kim's 2 questions.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you, Sis Sylvia. We now have 4 questions. The first question is it good to ground or bring the mind down before sharing of merits?
It doesn't matter. Just remember to share. You don't have to bring the mind down, up, anything. As long as the mind is happy, remember to share. Next.
Thank you. Sis Sylvia, in one sutta, Buddha said there is not one person whom have not killed another person in one of their lifetimes. Would one have been born in a heavenly realm in one of our previous lifetimes?
I would assume there must be. I don't know. I can't say. If you ask a question that's outside of the sutta, I am in no position to offer a view. Remember the early point, right? At the first slide, I say, avoid speculation, and assumptions and prejudices and all. Maybe, maybe not. I think the main point about today's talk, about the realms, dimensions, right? I feel that, okay, for me personally, I feel that I am very fortunate to learn this knowledge, this piece of knowledge from the Buddha. Now I understand that we have relatives everywhere. We're well connected everywhere. Network of connections across the cosmos. But it makes you feel that you are one of many, isn't it? What is so special about us? There are so many dimensions. What is so special about us? That answer will be answered in the next talk. It's like selling my next talk like that. No, actually, before I started this talk, I did ask this question, and I actually had a slide prepared already for this. The uniqueness of a human birth. Then I say, hey, this one should be the 3rd talk. Okay, next one. Because it's something very unique. Very, very unique about this birth. Let's see, you are not more powerful than even the Nagas or the Gandhabas. You're not even more powerful than them. The terrestrial being beat you hands down. Even animals beat you hands down. They run faster. They grow bigger. They live. Some of them live longer. I mean, the turtle is very long living, right? Right? They can see things you can't see. They can hear sound you can't hear. They can smell better than you. The dog is 50 times better. What's so special about us? There's nothing very special about us except for one feature that is very special about us. And I won't tell you the answer. Stay tuned. Okay, yes.
Thank you. Sis Sylvia, question 3 and 4 are roughly the same. Thank you for the great talk with sutta references. In Buddhism, every moment is considered as birth or death. Does the rebirth happens at the last moment of human life, or rebirth happening every moment? Or is it happening every moment and last moment as well? Hope you answer my question. Thank you.
This is what we said about the literal and the figurative law. The figurative is every moment born, die, born, die, born, die. And of course, we have lived through many lives. in this lifetime. And that's figurative. And the literal is obviously the one that is, big life and death. Actually, both. If you look at I think it's Mahanidana Sutta, which number, I'm not sure, I can't remember already. That is where the Buddha actually explained each one. The Paticca Samuppada, and sometimes there's argument whether or not it is literal or figurative, right? Paticca Samuppada, with ignorance comes Shankara, there is the literal and the figurative one also, because in that particular sutta, he actually explained specifically each one. And he talked about rebirth as in rebirth into different realms and dimensions. Okay? So both. That's it, right?
That's it. Thank you, Sis Sylvia. Over
wonderful.
back to you. Thank you.
Okay, we're going to, first I want to invite everyone. Today's very important. Okay? We have family members and friends who have moved on. And today we want to dedicate the merits of this talk to the individuals who have moved on, and I'm going to flash two names here, two faces. I want to invite everyone to share your merits with the individuals. Okay, this is Lim Hua Pa. I'm so sorry, Uncle. It's just bad English. Lim Ho Pa. We would like to dedicate the merits. We share the merits in memory of you. May you be well and happy wherever you are. You have been reborn. This is another individual. She is a friend. She's the mother of a very good friend who is currently in Yangon. I hope you are watching this. This is shared in memory of Do Tan Sen. Auntie, may you be well and happy wherever you have been reborn. A minute of your time just to share your merits. In breathing and out breathing, share the merits. Okay. Sorry, we go back to this slide. Just a reminder, I know you have seen this many times, but it's a good reminder. If we had enjoyed listening to the Dhamma, please honor our teacher, put it into practice, his first teaching to the lay community. Be chaga, donate, help, support. Give time and energy, give time to a worthy cause or spiritual organization. Never take for granted the blessings that we have enjoyed in this life. As our forerunners had done it right by us, we must continue the good work for those who come after. May the Dhamma last long. May we continue to enjoy supportive conditions for learning and practice. And may we never deviate from the true teachings as long as life lasts. Sadhu.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Thank you very much, Sister Sylvia, for very inspiring talks, as well as the gratitude, as well as sharing of merits. So, brothers and sisters, now that we have listened to very inspiring talks and put our mind into a very happy and joyous mode, I'll just briefly go through announcements so that you will still stay in this mode, and we'll close with the closing puja. Next week, we'll have Pra Go Chun Kyang delivering a talk, Optimism in Buddhism. And again, as you know, please just register if you want to attend. If not, you can follow in YouTube or Facebook. Next slide. These are all the talks for November 2020. Again, you can find in BF, register, or if not, you can follow in YouTube as well as Facebook. Next. The same thing for BF Youth Program as well as Indonesian. Next one. And we also have Buddhist Fellowship Junior Youths open for registration. If you have anyone any child, daughters or son with the age of 13 to 16, and you would like them to learn Dhamma, register them for the BF Junior Youth Program. Okay, and special Saturdays series, Bante Budara Kita will have a 4-part talk starting from 28th of November 2020, and it will be broadcast on BF's YouTube as well as Facebook channel as well. So do take note of the dates and tune in. Year-end retreat, very special. We have Ajahn Brahm and Ajahn Brahmali, 24th to 29 December 2020. So if everyone is celebrating Christmas and you feel like you want something more meaningful, year-end retreat will be better. So please do register before it runs out, because usually it's very, very popular. And as Sister Sylvia say, donate, support, give time and energy and resources to your charity of choice. This is one charity of such a choice, right? And this will be your conditions, and also conditions for all of us for our long-time well-being. Because without BF, we will not be able to listen to Dhamma. So now, with all of our positive energy and very well-prepared mind, let us do the closing puja and also the sharing of the merits. Dedication of merits. In Anjali, let us invite all sentient beings to participate in our acquired merits. Etavata cha ammehi sangbatang punya sangpadang Sabbhe deva anumodhantu Sabbha sangpati siddhya Etavata cha ammehi Sangvatang punya sangpadang Sabbhe bhuta anumodhantu Sabbha sangpati siddhya Etavata cha ammehi Sangvatang punya sangpadang Sabbhe satta anumodhantu Sabbha sangpati siddhya. Dedication of merits. Let us dedicate the merits of participating in a wholesome Dhamma activity to our departed relatives and friends. Idang me nyatinang hotu sukhita hontu nyatayo. Idang me nyatinang hotu sukhita hontu nyatayo. Idang me nyatinang hotu sukhita hontu nyatayo. End of service dedication. I dedicate the merits which I have accumulated to the cultivation of my mind in order to bring happiness and benefits to all sentient beings. I dedicate the merits to my parents, children, spouse, relatives, friends, colleagues, and my adversaries, wishing them long life, good health, happiness, and prosperity. May we never part from the Triple Gem, and may we always walk the path towards enlightenment. Closing homage, let us pay respects to the Triple Gem. Arahang Samma Sambuddho Bhagava Buddhang Bhagavantang Abhivade. Swakato Bhagavata Dhammo Dhammang Supatipanno bhagavato sāvaka saṅgho saṅghang namami. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Sabbe satta sukhi hontu. May you all be well and happy, and wishing you all a pleasant week ahead. Thank you very much, brothers and sisters. Again, please just leave the cushion over there because it will be disinfected, and just leave the premise as soon as